We're at the CITIUS Mag HQ in Eugene, Oregon, and we're joined by World Championship bronze medalist and now U.S. 10,000 meter champion Emily Infeld. Emily, congratulations. Less than 24 hours removed from the race. I feel like you're still on cloud nine.
Yeah, I'm still so stoked. I know. I feel like I woke up in the middle of the night. I didn't really sleep, but I rolled over and poked Max, and I'm like, did that really happen? I'm like, I did it. I did it.
You did it.
Yeah. You did it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just fresh off of the victory lap, because I was in the stadium. I popped into the mix zone because I was like, oh, I want to hear what Emily has to say after this race. I was like, and then I asked her, I was like, oh, did she come by already? And they're like, no, she's still not here. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's like, where is she? And they're like, oh, she's still doing her victory lap.
Yeah,
and so it took a while, but every single fan that was out there, what made you really want to savor this moment and take this victory lap?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I feel like in 2022 when I made the team, I was the slowest person out there on the track. I was like, I'm staying out here as long as I can. I was like, there was 5 other events that had come through and all done their victory lap, and I was still there. They're like, what event were you in again? Why are you still here? You finished 3 hours ago. But I feel like, I don't know, last night it's just I wanted to win a U.S. title for so long, and it's something that I feel like I gave up hope on for a bit, and I was just I don't know if it's hard to be in contention. It's just so good. The U.S. is so strong. I mean, there's so many incredible women, and I think I just had that belief. I was manifesting that finish line tape and running through it, and then it happened, and I was like, I don't know, and I mean, it's hard to win races, as a pro, and to feel like I got to win that one is huge, and I just wanted to soak it all in, and just riding that high.
I'm sure we'll dive into the race, but I want you to go back a little bit. You just said it's so hard to win races. You'd been manifesting it. You'd sort of lost hope. Can you walk us through the rebuild of the hope toward this moment?
Yeah. I mean, I think this year in general, I really wanted to have a vengeance on the track. I'd been struggling with the 10K the last couple years, and I was I know it's still in there. And I just was really trying to focus on day by day, week by week, month by month, not get too sucked into the future, but just trying to put in good training, build good momentum. And then this week I was reading that book, You Are a Badass, to just help me with my manifestation. And I don't know, I just love that. And I feel it's a good lesson to remind yourself. I'm my husband is out here thinks I'm the best in the world, and sometimes I'm okay, you gotta slow your roll. Do you know the women that are running right now? But now I'm I have to put a little bit of that in myself and just say why am I not believing in myself as strongly as he believes in me? And I think I just try to channel a little of that in him, and I'm inspired by him, and we do so much training together. It's really, really fun. He just ran 3:57 in the 15, so I was okay, we're in shape. I'm not in 3:57 shape, but I'm if he's running 3:57, I'm in pretty good shape. So I'm that helped build my confidence a little. And then I was you know what, why not? I'm going to try to mix it up. If I'm there, we're going to try to make a move as late as possible. And I just think it's fun. I don't know. I'm just really proud of myself for believing in myself and that I could do it. Because I'm again, the women are incredible. So I'm it could be was anyone's race yesterday, and I'm just happy that I broke the tape.
Do you have recollection of what was your self-talk in the last 2K? Were you really, is that something that you thought of ahead of time? It's how are you going to get through this process? What was your self-talk like?
Honestly, in the last 2K, I really was trying to focus on covering any moves. I'm Coach Milt was by the Hayward the tower thing, and I could hear him. I feel early in the race, I was kind of towards the back, and he was all right, eyes up for the move that gets made, eyes up. And then I could tell he the next lap, he was all right, move yourself so you're in a little bit better position, because I was starting to fade back a little. So I'm okay, let me make a move so that I'm ready to pounce if a move is made. And I was just biding my time. I honestly felt really good and really comfortable, and I was I don't know what pace we're running, but I feel really good, really relaxed. And I was just keep eyes up. Someone's going to make a move. And I could see Taylor lurking, and I was waiting. I was she's going to make a move. I just got to keep my eyes on and just respond. Because I think if you respond quick, it's I just want to tell myself, go, latch on. But if you can't respond in that moment and you're gapped, it's so much harder to cover that gap. So I was telling myself that I think she made that move with 7 laps to go. And then kind of every lap after that, I was stay in contact. Honestly, probably a little too close to Wayne. I think I clipped her a few times because I was a little too worried about letting a gap form. And I was just just stay put. Coach Milt was it's going to feel really hard with 5 laps to go. And I was honestly feeling really good and getting antsy, but I was just stay in contact, stay within yourself. I think Coach Henner was out there. I heard someone who kept being like, stay patient, not yet, not yet. Because I was like getting a little antsy wanting to move up. And I was just telling myself, I'm like, again, just stay with these women. And if I can be there with a lap to go, I think I can close really well.
I guess like one other thing, and this is no secret, I've been a nerd for the women's 10K and like all the ranking stuff and everything. And
I
like,
love it.
I feel like you have to shut your brain off like in the actual race, and it's just sort of like, all right, it's about racing. But for a good majority of that race, like nothing was happening, and it was like Elise was in the front, and like it was very slow. I know, just sort of like, at what point did you start to think like, okay, like we do have to pick it up at some point, because if it goes too slow, and like even if I still win, like it's not going to be enough to make this team.
It's so funny. I honestly didn't look at the time once.
Wow.
I knew we were running slow, and like I looked back at the splits, and it was like our first lap was like 78, and then we had like 285s and then an 80, and then we started running like 74 to 76, and like it felt like a more reasonable clip, but I had no idea. Like in my head too, I think I knew going into this race, I ran well at the 10 to give myself points, and I unfortunately just didn't get another 10K time in there to get me. I mean, I guess I ran that road 10K that didn't get me ranked very high. Because I didn't run that fast. But I really just wanted to win. And I was like, I didn't even want to think about the time. I was like, I want to compete with these women. I want to make Tokyo. Like, I want to like run there and try to represent the U.S. and compete really well at the international level. But honestly, in my head, like I think going into the race, I knew about what I had to hit. And Coach Milt told me, he was like, don't even think about the time. Don't be antsy. He's like, other people are going to be antsy about the time. And he's like, you just follow the body in front of you. Like, don't waste your mind space on that. And that's kind of what I did. And honestly, it like really worked out for me, because I think Taylor and Elise were more aware of the time and made it honest, which I got to benefit from, and I didn't have to do any of the work for. So I'm like so thankful for them. And I just was sitting there kind of like a hunter, just saying, I want to just keep on this front pack and just try to stay attached and go for the win. And then when I crossed the line, I had no idea the time we actually ran, and I had no idea if the time that I ran was gonna give me the points for Tokyo.
I was in the stands. I was like crunching the numbers, and then I was like, you know what? I think she's in, and like, yeah, it's complicated, but like I'm pretty sure you're going to Tokyo. And like the funny thing was like I sent the article that I wrote to Milt, and I was like, hey, can you double check my math? Because like I think this is the scenario. And he goes like, looks good to me. So then like afterwards, I was like, all right, I think we're in a good spot. So yeah,
I think that like complete presence of mind and just like racer's mentality is what connects a lot of fans to you. And I'm a biased fan as your friend, but it's something that I think is really special, and something that is sort of lost in the modern era of track and field is like everybody is so focused on time trials, so focused on running fast. But your race yesterday really kind of harkened back to when you won your medal in 2015, of like that ability to stay patient, that ability to stay present, and that ability to like pounce when it counts. Did you feel like some similar feelings of the Beijing medal yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's also so funny because I think Max told me this. I don't know if you said this, Chris, or someone said, but I ran the same exact time to medal as I did yesterday, like 31:43.
Really?
Which is bizarre.
I didn't say it, but like that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's so interesting. But I definitely felt that, I think, kind of similar vibe of just like in that flow state and just focused on the body in front of me, like the ponytail in front of me, and just trying to stay relaxed. And I just felt really good. And I was like really biding my time because I wanted to make a move. With like a K to go, I was like really wanting to make a move. And then I was like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And I was like, don't make a move if you don't feel like you can hold it all the way to the finish line. And I'm like, with the lap to go, I wanted to go. And then Wayne went, and I was just trying to respond. And I just felt so good. But it was just, I don't know, it's fun to be in that state. And I'm like, to your point, back in Beijing, I think that's what I was doing. I was just following Shalane and Molly in front of me and trying to cover any moves and be ready for when a move happened and just biding my time. And it's fun when you're just anticipating that happening and your adrenaline is going and you're feeling good and just running within yourself. But you're like, okay, I have more, but like, don't go too soon. Just follow the moves. Yeah, and then it's fun to be able to close hard that last 100.
Yeah, that final 100, like, can you replay that moment in your mind very vividly, or is it like you blacked out and like you then came back like after the finish line?
It's funny because in Beijing, I totally blacked out my final 100 there. Like I was kind of like, what happened? But yesterday, I feel like I was fully cognizant and I was just like run through the line. It honestly reminded me a little of Jamaica, the 5K. I was like trying so hard. I didn't know who was around me and I was like, just go all the way through the line. And I think I said this a couple times yesterday, but I tagged on a 200 with Nikki and they're like, we're going to run 16:14, like a shifting 200. And I was like, cool, that sounds great. And then we came through like, I don't know, 15:5 or something. And then they shifted to like a 12:4 and I just got blasted. And I was like, oh my God, did they just run 14? Like what? I'm like, yikes. And they're like, oh, oops, like oopsie daisy. Like I just ran like a 12:4. And then we were looking back because Max took a video and I was like, oh, I just ran like a 13:2 or something. I was like, what the heck? I was like, I didn't even know I could run that fast in the 100. So I think that gave me confidence too of just like, I have a good close and I don't know. I feel like speed is strength or strength is speed. Strength is speed more than speed is strength. But I just felt really within myself and I know how fast Elise is and Wayne and Taylor's so strong, but I was so antsy and ready and I covered that move and I was like, I just need to make a decisive move when I go around and just don't look back, just run all the way through the line.
I feel like when we chatted right after you signed with Brooks, like there was just so much of like, all right, like last track season to like really make it count. And like, this is a signing that definitely like signals towards like an investment into the roads and like a bigger like long-term picture on that side of things. But at what point in the season for you in particular, did you think like, all right, if this is going to be the one that makes it count before we shift to the roads, like we really got to buckle down to like focusing on the track?
Yeah. I mean, Milt gave me such a good perspective too. He's like, I don't think you have to sell yourself to one or the other. He's like, I don't think you have to say you're done with the track, you're going to become a road runner. He's like, I think you can do the roads and stay on the track. And he's like, honestly, I think you're still so good on the track. He was like looking at some of my workouts the last couple years, and unfortunately I just wasn't able to put it together in races. I was hurt like a lot of the like track season last year. So he was looking at some of my stuff and he's like, I think it's still there. He's like, I think you do great on the roads, but he's like, don't tell yourself that you're not a track runner anymore. And he's like, you need to change that mindset. And I think that to me really helped because I think I was telling myself, I'm 35, I'm too old for this. And then I'm like, why am I saying that? I'm like, Kira D'Amato's out here. And I'm like, she just had a Masters American record. And I'm just like, I think I'm so inspired by these women ahead of me and Sarah Hall who are just like, they're not like, age is not a limiter to them. And I'm like, I think for so long we felt like age is a limiter. And I'm like, no, I'm running PRs. Why would I think that I'm 35 and somehow I'm not competitive anymore? And I think that's what's really cool, and he has that mindset. But he did yesterday to me. He was like, "You're almost my age," and I was like, "No, I'm not." What are you talking about? But he's like, "I can't believe you did that. You're almost my age." And I was like, "I guess I am closer in age to you than I am to like Ethan and Parker and the people you coached."
So good. I mean, to that point too. It's like we look at just what Kira did last night. She had a good race, and then on top of that, like Connor Mantz always dabbles like onto the track. It's like you don't have to totally shut the door on. So kind of to be clear, like this is not your final track season, it feels like.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I just love the track so much. I do. And I mean, I love the roads too, but I just that feeling on the track. I love it. And that last lap on the track and the energy in the stadium, it's just so special to me. And I feel like I still have that, like me as a little kid running like the 200 and the 400 and just, I just love it. Like, I feel like it's so fun. And I just love this sport. I'm like, it's funny because this last week I was getting so nervous and telling my husband, I was like, do I like this? I'm really nervous. And he's like, I think the fact that you're nervous means you really like this. And I'm like, what if I don't do well? And he's like, then it's going to be the same exact thing as if you do well. He's like, our lives are going to be exactly the same. So like, I'll love you still. All of our friends will. It'll be what it'll be, but just try your hardest. And I think that also gave me peace of mind that I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, my life is my life. I love my life. And if I run well, that's fabulous. And I want to work hard and just do my best. But if I don't, I'm like, people still love me.
That's such a grounding force to have that in your life of like, yeah, it's also like, it's just running and you're more than that. But you've also done this so many times. Like, you've been on this stage so many times. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but I would love for you to walk us through all of your USAs and what event you raced.
Yeah, because we were talking to Matt Sonnenfeld before this, and he goes, I think her first USAs was 2008, but it was like, you said that one was like as a US junior, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, like, where do we begin at like the senior level?
Yeah.
And you were running the 8 in 2008, right?
Yeah,
Or 2009, whatever it was.
Yeah, 2009, and then I started the 15. But yeah, I know. Unfortunately, no 8 in the senior level. But I'm like, I still am claiming that because I'm like, Milt coached me to that. So I'm like, he coached me at a national U.S. junior. But then the 15 in 2010, and I made the final, but I can't remember what I placed. But I know I remember being the top collegiate because he told me that. He was like, you were the top collegiate. I think I was 10th. And then 2011, I was 5th, which was like wild.
I'm looking at it now, who the people you beat in that race.
Yeah.
And it was like Trenier Moser you beat,
Yes.
like Brie Felnagel,
Anna Pierce.
Katie Follett,
Yeah.
Jordan Hussey.
Yes.
That was a big year.
Yeah, it was a big year. I know, and that was fun. I ran 4:08, which was like, I think for me, PR is my sophomore year.
And at the time in the NCAA, that was very, very fast.
Yeah, I feel like that was pretty
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like everyone's running so fast in NCAA that it's just like so hard to comprehend that I'm like, that was really good back then, guys.
No, that was really good back then. I saw Emily run do 408, and I was like, I'm toast.
Stop it. As if that's Aisha who can run like 159 to the 800. Like, what are you talking about?
Anyway, okay, so 2011, 1500, you were 5th.
Was 5th, yeah.
And then 2012.
2012, I was 8th in the 5K at the trials. And I do think I'm like Coach Mill, I love him and he loves me, but he was like, I had senior week and I think I was a little not serious at all about the trials. And I was like, I'm not making this. And he was like, as we came there, he was like, what were you doing? I like drunk dialed him like out like a week before and he got so mad and I was like, this is all for fun. And he was like, what? Like, you are good. Take this seriously. And I feel like he loves me and it's all fine. It's all good. It's all great. But I think he was like, why didn't you take that seriously? But I was like, woohoo, I'm going to the Olympic trials. And he was like, we're not here to celebrate. We're here to try to compete. And I was like so gassed. The last 800, like I think I blacked out because I was like not in good shape because I had senior week and I was just not in a good place.
Emily, college
So good.
stories are great.
Amazing.
So then 2013.
2013, I was hurt. So 2013, I was hurt. I went to altitude for the first time. I got too skinny. That was like a year where I like just wasn't, I went to altitude with the boys in Mammoth. I ran with them every day. I like wasn't paying attention to nutrition. And I'm like such now, I like am really cognizant about what I eat and like making sure I'm eating enough because I just wasn't. I feel like I wasn't in a happy place. I was having a really hard time transitioning. Ended up getting a sacral stress fracture and then had another sacral stress fracture the following year. So I missed 2013 and 2014 both from sacrums. And then 2015, I just moved up into the 10K because I had some speed workout with Jerry and I did a 400 and ran like a 69. And he was like, well, we're not going to put you into anything except for the 10K if that's your all out 400. Like, where are we? But I was coming off of like 2 years of not really running and whatever. It was a hot mess. And I think I went out in like 30 and then just died. Like I just like, who knows what I did? Like
Not optimal.
Yeah, it was whatever I did was awful. But all I know is his like face. He was like, well, I guess we're not going to run the 5K or the 15. Like, let's try you in the 10.
It ended up working.
And then ended up working.
It ended up working out great.
Yeah. Bronze medal at Worlds that year.
Yeah, bronze medal at Worlds. And then 2016, I did the 10 and the 5 and made both teams, but just made both teams because Molly, I was 4th in the 5, but Molly gave up her spot and then I gave up my spot. So I just did the 10. 2017, I just did the 10. 2018, I was hurt. 2019, I had hip surgery. And then
Pandemic.
Just did the 10K in 2021 and died. Like the heat killed me. I also had been like training in Oregon and was not heat trained at all. And that was like a hot mess. I feel like I blacked out and I was like, felt so good through halfway. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no.
That's my Roman Empire race. It's just like how amazing Emily Sisson did in that race.
Emily Sisson she's so incredible. She's just such a great athlete, but I'm like, she just literally went to the front. I think one lap, she didn't lead like the first lap. And then she was like, all right, we ran like a slow lap and she was like, I'm going for it. And like, it was just carnage behind her. Like she just left everyone in her dust. And it was just just like all of us were dying slow, miserable deaths. Like it was like one lap after another, people were falling off, and she just like
I think it was 31:03.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that
In
was
those
wild.
conditions,
That was
it was
wild.
insane.
She's
Yeah.
so good. She's like, I feel like she's a metronome. Like she's just clicking it off. But I feel like I remember talking to her after, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know." And I was like, I was like, as I'm like dead, Alicia Monson is like getting an IV at the hospital. She's like so dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, man, you're built different. I'm like very, very impressive.
That was wild. That was wild.
Then 2022, another magical year.
Yes, 2022. Yeah, good year. I was 4th in the 10K and so heartbroken. But got beat by Alicia, Carissa, and then Natasha Rogers. So like all incredible women. So it's like you can't be upset when you're getting beat by those incredible women. But it was really nice to come back and make that 5K team after Natasha. She's a good kick. I have a good kick, but she's a great kick, and she beat me in the kick. And I was like something I thought I could get, and I was like told her after, I was like, man, you got a really good kick.
That final mile of that 5K, like,
oh my
is
gosh.
one of the best I think in recent years at a U.S. Championships.
Yeah.
It was just like, insane.
Did you run
how
like
fast it goes.
4:34 or something?
No, it was like 4:24.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, 4:24. Yeah. 10 seconds
Yeah,
faster. Yeah.
4:24, 4:25, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Which is my fastest 16. It would have been my fastest mile ever if I could count that, because I've never broken 4:30 in the mile. So
Give her a tree in the forest. Yeah.
You don't have
I gotta get my tree.
So in 2023, like, I guess the most impressive part, and this is something that Mac brought up yesterday when we were kind of like recapping the race, is that how impressive it is to have like gone through making like all these teams with 3 different coaches. Do you feel like 3 different versions of an athlete under each coach, or like how different do like those training systems like feel when they've been successful to getting you to these world stages?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's so, again, I don't think there's one right way to train. And I think that's what I'm learning too, is that I'm like, we all need something different. And I felt like I had my time with Jerry and Bowerman, and it was working so well, and it was so great. And then I just got to a point where I was getting fried. Like I couldn't keep up with the training. I think it was maybe me being an older athlete. And again, it's just like I wasn't able to showcase. I was working out really well, and the races weren't going well. And it was just, I couldn't put it together, and I couldn't stay healthy. I was getting I also was not in a happy place. Like I feel like it's tough when sometimes you're like having these insane workouts and you're like, how did I do that? And then 2 weeks later, you're like, I am really struggling to work out. And it was too much for me, I think. And like probably too much of the comparison game. Like when you're competing with these women who are incredible, and then I'm not able to keep up with them in workouts, I think it's also mentally taxing. And I think for me in 2022, removing myself and just saying like, it doesn't matter what Elise or Chris are doing in their workouts. Like I'm doing my workouts, I'm going to show up. And I think sometimes that's nice to just be a little blind to it. And I think that's something that unfortunately in my head, I think it's really important to, be all there in your head as well. I feel like Will said that yesterday. He's like, the most important muscle you use is the one between your ears on race day. And I think for me, knowing what I was doing in workouts versus them was getting in my way in races. And sometimes removing yourself, it's like I don't need to know what anyone else is doing. Like to me, it's like it doesn't matter. Like my training is different. I'm gonna do what works for me. And I feel like that like worked for a short time, and then I was like, I do miss a team and that environment. And I feel like that was really beneficial, but I just I don't know, I've worked so well with Coach Milt, and I just feel like he knows me so well. I also feel like I'm at a point in my career that like, I don't know, I'm older. I want to do stuff more on my schedule, and like my husband is in Portland, and I think for me, being with him is really important for my happiness. So I'm like, I think that also has helped with my training, and it's really fun to be able to do that with him and to go to altitude when it works for his work schedule and have him come with me the whole time and bring our cat, and it just makes it feel, I don't know, for me, I'm like, I love this sport so much, but I feel like there are times to sacrifice, but I'm like, there's also only so much I want to sacrifice at this point, and I don't think I need to, like, I think I can have it all, like have my friends and my husband, and I feel like for me that gives me the most confidence.
It's also true that there are like definite phases of life. Like you just alluded to it there. It's like when you're a young athlete and recovery isn't a factor, and you can just like wake up and open the door and go for a run, and you don't have to do any prehab. It's like those are the days that are like really meant for like the sacrifices and the altitude camps and the this and the that. And then, you know, if you're able to have that longevity and to like have that career, then you look around and you're like, okay, I'm 35. Like I don't have any friends in normal life that are 35 that are like shooting off to these camps here and there. Like it is, I think that that's something that athletes, I think, can take from your story and learn from you, is that like, you know what you're doing, you know, as you get older, and like prioritizing your recovery, your happiness, your life. All of these things are it's such a blueprint, I think, for success, and being an older athlete, like, doesn't mean that you can't have the same success. It just might have to look a different way.
Totally. And that's it too. I feel like, I don't know, for me, I'm like this year, like I'm taking every Sunday off, like unless I race on Sundays, and then like in Grand Slam, I like didn't take that Sunday off. But like outside of that, like pretty much every Sunday I'm totally off. I'll like go to the park with my best friend Natalie and her kiddos and play Monster with them and just like run around with them. And that's my off day. And it's wonderful and fabulous. And Max and I will go get like coffee and have a big brunch, and just like really relaxing. And for me, I'm getting doing a lot of quality, doing a lot of threshold, but I'm getting in like 15 to 20 miles of quality every week. So I'm like, I would rather, I don't know, I like that. I hate warm up cool down. I'm like, Milt is a big like 10-minute warm up cool down guy, and I'm like, man, I love this. Like I'd rather get more like meat and potatoes and like less of this other stuff. Like I don't need this slow, like whatever, it just like feels I'm like, I'd rather do 800s on 45 seconds. Like give me more of those, give me 400s on 30 seconds, and give me miles on a minute, and that kind of stuff. Like I'm just like, I thrive in that threshold stuff. And I think for me too, nothing, like we do fast stuff on Mondays, which is really fun. And I'm like, it's back to my college days where it's like I'm running like a 43-second 300 on Monday, which for me is really fast, and some like sub 30 200s and that kind of stuff. But then most of my training is threshold based, and then occasionally he'll throw in like, start the workout with like a 4:35 mile, and I'm like, okay. And then it's like, I'm like, oh wait, I can still do that off of this training, which is also so cool for me to be like, it's, I don't know, probably only once every 2 weeks do we do really a specific session, and outside of that it's all threshold stuff. And I just love that. I feel like I recover really well from that, and I'm just feeling good in training with that.
I think one of the things that like I've seen just like online in the last like 24 hours from just like all the posts that have like been made about you is just like so many people happy for you. And like I think a big part of it is just like the joy that you bring to all the races, every single start line, like every interview that you've like done. And so then like it makes it so much easier for like all these fans to gravitate towards you. Like have you felt that? I guess like I'm sure it must be overwhelming in the last like less than 24 hours to like feel all that love at once.
It's incredible. It's also just like insane. It's just, people are so nice, and I'm like, I love this sport so much. It just makes me so happy. I'm like, I can't believe people are so nice, like so kind to me, and like I love this sport so much, and I'm like, I'm such a fan of it too. Like I just like, and I really do, like I love everyone I was racing against yesterday. Like all those women are so incredible, and I think we all have such a good story, and like no one's gotten through unscathed in this sport. And I think that's what like bonds people together too, is like everyone has had those years where you're like, fuck, like F, like, you can curse, it's yeah, but it's like, it's just so hard. And I'm like, you just know when we all care so much and are putting so much into it, and it's like not coming together. I think a lot of people also are just, they can relate to that, because it's like so much of this is just grindy and it's for small moments. But I'm like, I feel like Nikki's posted a lot about just loving the process, and I feel that too. Like Max said that to me. He's like, you're so much happier this year. Like he's like, you're not yelling at me as much at workouts. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. But I don't know. I'm like, I love it. It's so special, but I do feel lucky to do this. And I'm like, I feel like this year too, maybe just off of having a couple years where I haven't been running as well, I was hurt, it just gives you more appreciation for this sport, and just for this time to be like, you know, it's not forever. I want to give it my best, but I just want to enjoy while I'm doing it. And like, I want to have fun with my friends and see all my friends' kiddos, and just do life stuff that's good, and just try to make the most out of this running. But like yesterday when I was doing my start outs, I saw my friend Ashley and Brian and their 2-year-old son, Forrest, or 3-year-old son. Is he 3? Yeah, 3. But he was like running and he like ran up to me and he's like, hi. And I was like, I'm going to try to run as fast as you on the track. And they're like, Forrest, she's doing your stride outs. I'm like, no, I want to talk to him now. It's like, I don't know, that piece of it where I'm like, it's just so special and so nice. And I'm so happy you guys are here. And I'm like, that's really more what it's about. And just like enjoying it, not making it so stressful. But anyways, I'm feeling all the love and I went off on a tangent, but I just love all the people in this sport. And I think it's incredible. I want everyone to watch track.
It's like, oh, well, no wonder people love you. Duh. Like,
Oh, love
All right,
you.
so how long do you keep the celebration going before now? I guess at this point, it's like we got to buckle down for Tokyo.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's also my mom's birthday today, so she's like so excited. And I was like, it's not my day anymore, Mom. My day was yesterday. It's your day now. I'm like, it's all about celebrating you. But I don't know. I got to talk to Milt. I feel like we got to figure out if I'm going up to altitude again, probably. And I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have easy jogging. I'm like, the nice thing about a 10K is that it like, you get a few easy jogging days because you can't work out for a bit. So I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, if I work really hard on the track, then I can reward myself with some easy days, some extra pastries and just fun lounging and yeah. Good fun time. But buckle down probably end of next week. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what Milt says. Whatever he says, I'll go by.
Amazing. Well, we won't keep you too much from the celebration. Emily, thanks so much for popping by to the CITIUS house, and we'll be rooting for you every step of the way, especially in Tokyo. Now we get to take the show on the road to Tokyo.
Woohoo! Thank you
Amazing.
guys so much. Love you guys.
Congrats, Em.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Love you.
Perfect.
Thanks. Oh, thanks, guys.
No, thank you.